Instant Sports Summer Games. I've actually reviewed another version of this game already. It was called, well, Instant Sports. It was number 9 on my worst list of games that I reviewed in 2019. Mainly because most of these sports were just truncated versions which only lasted a few minutes, if that. There was only one real game in that collection that really had everything that you would need. It was bowling. And knowing how this title is presented, it's kind of shocking that it exists as a full game. They could have done like a 3-round bowling game, and it would have fit in perfectly with this. However, they didn't do that, so I guess that's a plus for that title. Now let me make something very clear. This is almost the exact same game with 5 more games added in. They do fix that goalkeeping game where you don't need 2 players in order to play it. They figured out the magic to have a computer play against you. Something that was, I guess, too complicated the first time around. We're basically talking about shooting balls in different directions on the screen. They must have had to work overtime for the programming of that AI. Now the games in here are archery, tennis, hurdle race, goalkeeper, baseball, rafting, bowling, relay race, high jump, javelin throw, and triple jump. The 5 new games are relay race, high jump, javelin throw, triple jump, and archery. I think they were trying to cash in on the Olympics by having those added in. I'm not going to go over the games I've already reviewed. I'll put in a link to the review I did on the original game if you want more details on those. I will briefly say though, bowling was fun, goalkeeper was dull, rafting was okay at best, baseball feels pointless since you really never feel like you have control over your swings, hurdle race was as dull as it was before, and tennis is okay. It's still near impossible to play with manual stick controls, and you're going to want to play with the motion controls. Also, as long as I'm on the topic of tennis, something really stuck out on me on this one, and it wasn't the game, it was this guy. What the is he looking at? He isn't watching the game. Why would they add some random guy who seems to be in his own world, not even paying attention to the match, which he seems to have gotten front row seats to watch? Not that it's that hard to get seats, since there's a lot of open chairs, and all the spectators were jumping up and down so much, you would think they had hemorrhoids. Now let's talk about the other events, in no real order. Relay race. It's just hurdle race with other people in it, instead of hurdles, of course. It has the same basic controls where you jerk your Joy-Con up and down, and you have to stay in the barrier of the power icon. And it's just as dull as it sounds. Javelin. I have no idea how this is supposed to be played. This is the one game in this collection I just could never get a good attempt at. You're supposed to run by jerking the Joy-Cons, then stopping, then maneuvering your throw, and then make a throwing motion. This never went more than a few feet for me. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, but I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. High jump. Now this was actually interesting. Depending on the difficulty level you set, you could try and jump over the bars at different heights. Funny enough, I actually had an easier time clearing higher bars than shorter ones. I kept hitting the bars on the easier difficulties and making it on the harder ones. They added an extra wrinkle to the gameplay by having you twist your Joy-Con to move your body so you can make it over the pole. I actually liked this game. It did get old quick. It was fun for a couple minutes. Triple jump. It was easy enough. Jerk your Joy-Con to run at a certain point, and that locks in your speed, then you jump 3 times. I waited until I almost hit the ground to press the jump button. I got better and better, and eventually I made it to the ruler part of the course, and it felt like a huge accomplishment for me. Finally, there's archery. Holy sh**, this thing is broken. You use both Joy-Cons to play this. You use one to use the motion of pulling back the bow, and one to be the bow itself. As you're making the motion of pulling back the bow, the screen's vision will shrink and narrow on your target. In theory, this was a cool idea. The problem is, after your first shot, the game will often lose track of where the Joy-Cons were in position to itself. So the archery game kind of becomes a game of, where does the title think my controllers are? This would be easily fixed if they let you recenter your controller, but I didn't see any option for this. So it makes trying to shoot your bow with any accuracy almost impossible towards your final shots. Now you can play these games in multiplayer with up to 8 players, it says. I guess that's possible. I don't know. I couldn't even get one person to play this with me. Instant Sports Summer Games is just as good as the previous title, and that being, it's really not good. It's kind of below average. It's nice that they added in AI to the goalkeeper and added 5 new games. But why not add in real games? Expand baseball and tennis. Now, one of the good things about this game is the cost. This title is only $5 more than the original one. It's only $24.99. However, I would still say skip this title. The games in this are too shallow, and you're going to tire of them very quickly. If you want to play games that would have simulated the Olympic events, there are much better options out there. So I would just skip it. Now, normally at the end of these reviews, I don't tell you what the next game I'm going to be reviewing is. But I've actually found a title that has confounded me so much in its lack of consistency, the lack of not understanding how the concept of distance works, and overall enjoyment. So my next review is the murder mystery game, Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz. Thank you all for watching.